Hey guys, Jonah here. Just want to give you a heads up that this episode was recorded on the night of August 21st, which was the same night that we did our Sabres versus the Atlantic episode for Montreal. So some of the recent NHL events that have happened, like the Askarov trade, the Rutger McGroarty trade, or even the Sabres signing Justin Falk to be one of their new scouts, aren't going to be discussed on today's episode. We'll probably touch on those next time. So apologies if you don't like that. Well, blame JP. He's the one that wanted to do two episodes in one night. Uh, just kidding. Anyways, on with the episode. Welcome back to another episode of the Sabre Roundtable. My name is Jonah.
I'm Christian.
I'm JP.
And as always, we'll be talking to you about all things Buffalo Sabres hockey and even a little bit of the wider NHL. Guys, we're getting close to September. We're getting there.
Off season's going by quick. I said it last episode. It's a lot faster of an off season than last year. Maybe it's because I'm actually, working full time, so it seems like the days just seem to roll on by, but I'm ready. I'm ready for the season to start. I'm a season ticket holder now. Quarter season package, sitting in the threes.
Sell out. You son of a bitch.
When you said that, I was like, you know what? We are part of the problem. Us. The three of us.
Team.
We are all season ticket holders for this team that has done nothing for us. We complain about all this stuff, and we are contributing to it. We are paying them.
Dude, it's funny because I got these as a birthday present. Shout out my girlfriend. We were talking about, like, at some point we were talking about getting Bills, but I was like, I can't really get Bills season tickets because then you go roll into the PSL stuff and it's just way too much money. So we were kind of casually talking about the Sabres season tickets, and I'm like, yeah, I was considering it, but you know what? They suck usually most of the time. And then she goes, well, now that we've had this conversation, I had a call with a guy to get you season tickets for your birthday, but now I don't know if you want them or not. I'm like, no. I want them. I want them. Thank you.
So what have you done? You're just going to bring more suffering to me.
This is the worst gift you could have possibly given me.
Now I get to show her how the suffering goes.
Yeah.
With a new Jumbotron. With a new Jumbotron.
8 of those 10 nights, you're going to come home pissed off. She's going to be like, what the hell did I do?
Dude, the first game I got on the schedule is against the Panthers. So it might be a rough start.
Oh, no.
He's going to be reminiscing about Reinhardt with her.
So you see that guy? Yeah, he used to play for us. He had 60 goals last season. He scored the game winner in Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals.
Yeah, and you see that other guy? He also played for us. He played on the third line. His name is Evan Rodriguez.
And we had the defenseman. He played forward for us.
He's not he's not there anymore. He was very good on defense. He played forward for us for a few games.
And Dmitry Kulikov. I don't miss him.
Talking about season ticket news, my streak, I've had a streak ever since Jack Eichel made his debut back in 2015. I've been to every single home opener, except the COVID season. I didn't break into the arena for that. But every single home opener, and that streak might be over this year. And it's in jeopardy. And I'm a little upset, but as someone told me, maybe I'm the problem. Maybe if I don't go, maybe they will finally make the playoffs. Maybe I'm the problem. I don't know.
Could be. This tradition has been going on what, like 7-8 years now, and you're just gonna throw it away.
Listen, we already tried the idea of this team playing in an empty arena, and they finished in dead last in the entire league. So it as much as you want to believe it that you're the problem, I promise you, we're not the problem.
Oh God, I think the worst one I ever went to had to be Dahlin's home opener. Oh my God, so much hype, and then they just get routed by the Bruins. That was a bad one.
Oh, the 2018 one.
Yeah. Or there was the 2016 one where like 24 hours before the game, Eichel gets the high ankle sprain. Okposo had gotten hurt during training camp. And then in the game, Evander Kane goes barreling into the boards and dislocates his shoulder. Matt Molson scored that night, though. I remember that.
God bless.
Power play specialist. All right, we're getting off topic. It's even for a summer episode, we're getting kind of off base here. So today, there's really not much going on in the Sabres world, but we did want to get together, record a little mini episode, just talk to you guys before we're probably a week or two away from getting back in the swing of things. I believe the Prospects Challenge starts on September 12th, that weekend. So, it's only 3 weeks away. Stuff's gonna start heating up again, and we've seen in the wider NHL a lot of action has kind of happened this week. It's been kind of eventful. So there's a little bit to talk about Sabres wise, and then we'll just touch on some NHL news and we'll be on our way. Did want to bring up before we get into anything, be sure to check out this new series of head-to-head matchups of the Sabres against the other opponents of the Atlantic Division. We've been doing each week one team, just comparing them to the Sabres. We did Ottawa last week. We just got done recording a Montreal one. So stay tuned as those slowly keep coming out. And I will also plug our Jeopardy episode that we did about a week and a half ago. If you haven't listened to that, go listen to that one. Did a fun game of NHL Jeopardy. Learned a lot of stuff. Had a lot of fun. But other than that, yeah, I guess we can get into it. So, the Sabres. What's going on? Pretty much nothing. But there is one interesting thing to talk about, aside from internal cap debates, which we will not get into here. Peyton Krebs is still unsigned.
Yeah, I don't understand what's going on. Wasn't he arbitration eligible?
He was not.
Okay. All right, that makes more sense then. For some reason I thought that they had a date set at the end of July, but I guess that was just Luukkonen and Malenstein. But that is weird, isn't it? Like we're going into the end of August and he's doesn't have a contract.
I think there's still a lot of RFAs in the NHL. Like Matty Beniers just got signed, but Detroit still has to sign Raymond and Seider. Seth Jarvis still has to sign with Carolina. Like there's still guys that have to, like those deals have to be ironed out. But like it's Peyton Krebs. Like it makes you kind of wonder, what is the holdup here? Like I know, like deadlines force decisions, and there's really no deadline for the Sabres. The deadline's the first day of training camp, but kind of makes you wonder. Like there shouldn't be that much. You wonder who's holding out here, or who doesn't want to kind of cave into the other's demands.
I wonder if it's like a writing on the wall thing. You think that Krebs's camp sees that he's not going to get as much playing time as he may have last year, and maybe we're seeing kind of like a hold in-ish. There's like no holdouts in the NHL though.
I was gonna say I don't want to start speculating, but I mean, I feel like that is one of the possibilities that just Krebs doesn't, I don't know, doesn't appreciate that it might not be part of this team's plans going forward, or at least for this year. So he's not happy with how it's going, and who knows? Maybe he's asked for a trade, and maybe like he wants to sign it with someone else. But it is really weird considering no matter what, this is gonna be like a smaller deal. Like it's not any crazy thing to hold out for.
I think maybe if Granato was still around, I would get that, because that was obviously a coach that didn't really have the most belief in Peyton Krebs. But I don't know, new coach in Lindy Ruff, I feel like it's almost kind of a fresh start for Krebs. I feel like money-wise, like he can't be asking more for $2 million. I don't know. Do the Sabres just want him to sign for cheap? Do they just want him to take the qualifying offer they gave him? I don't know. It's you don't want to overanalyze, because this could be done just randomly and then we just move on. But it is weird. It's August 21st and Peyton Krebs still doesn't have a contract.
Maybe Terry had to move some money around. The accounts were a little low. He's waiting for a
I
check
said
to
we weren't
clear.
going to talk about this, man. Come on.
No,
I'm trying to
I'm just
avoid
saying-
it. I know JP's sick of talking about it. I didn't want to go into this. You're bringing it up.
All right, I'll shut my mouth.
When is training camp then? Like when is the deadline? Is it
I
a
don't
few more
think-
weeks?
I think I think I saw the Red Wings released when their training camp opens. I think it's like the 20th. I don't. The Sabres haven't released it themselves, but it's usually the following days after the Prospects Challenge. It's usually that week. Let's see. The Red Wings will hit the ice for the first time for training camp on the morning of September 19th. That's a Thursday. I'm trying to see when's the first Sabres preseason game.
I thought it's like the 21st.
Yep, it is the 21st.
So
So I think 2 days would be a bit weird.
I was gonna say that just seems weird.
Let me see. When's the Red Wings' first preseason game? Oh yeah, they don't play till the 25th. You know, that's probably the Sabres. You know, because they're going to be in Prague, or just across seas. It's probably maybe their schedule got moved up a bit. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm
Yeah,
just
that
looking
can
too
make
deep into
sense.
that.
So probably at least a week before that game. So maybe the 14th, maybe that week.
Yeah. So the Sabres Prospects Challenge schedule, it goes from the 13th to the 16th. And the 16th, the 16th is a Monday, so yeah, maybe camp just opens up that Tuesday. So I guess
Maybe I'm just in NFL mindset right now, but that seems like awfully short for training camp. And all of a sudden you got some preseason games. Maybe that's just the Bills in me where, you have like a 4-week training camp and all these other mini camps. And then you play a game where now it's like a week of training camp. Let's play.
Yeah, so taking a look at their preseason schedule from last year, it looked like their first preseason game was the 24th, and they opened camp on the 21st. So only gave them like 3 days, it looks like. I think if I have the correct here. So I don't know. Something to look at, something to look forward to. I would imagine it opens the week of September 16th. So about 4 weeks away. We're getting there. We are getting there. So yeah, I don't know what the issue with Krebs really is, if there even is an issue, or they're just, I don't know. Somebody's not checking their phone. Somebody's not answering someone's calls. Definitely been quiet, but I would still assume that this gets figured out.
It's all pure speculation at this point. That's all we could say.
So, other than that, like the Sabres, nothing's really changed from last episode. Last time we spent a lot of time on the Luukkonen contract. I can give you an update on the arena. The roof construction's finished.
Did see that. Drove my dad to work the other day. His car was in the shop, and we drove right through downtown. You could see it too. It's pretty prominent. It's a very bright white. It looks nice.
It's brand new.
It
We don't
looks
get a lot of
nice.
brand new here.
Thank you, Jeff
What-
Skinner. Thank you for your sacrifice.
I'm waiting for when they finally tweet the video about the scoreboard because it's got
Me
to be
too.
really
I
soon.
am looking forward to that. Yeah.
Yeah.
The scoreboard construction is also underway, so I am looking forward to that. That's going to be very cool. I guess Christian, I didn't ask where are you sitting? Where are your seasons?
So when I was talking to the guy,
And for anybody listening, don't stalk this man. He's about to reveal where he is on certain days.
it kind of worked out that she ended up telling me because she kind of didn't know what I wanted. So I went for somewhere in the threes, but you know how in the 300s, the first two rows and like towards the middle, they're the nicer seats. You know, the ones that aren't just like a hard plastic seat.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sitting on one of the sides. It's closer to the side where the Sabres defend twice, but it has like a clear view of the attacking twice side. So it's kind of like you're sitting straight on, but you're like over more. So they're nice. They're nice. It's got a good view. Um, I'm excited. It's pretty good view of the scoreboard, not too far away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it should be cool. I'm looking forward to see how the scoreboard looks. At least there is some change going on in the arena, and we'll see if they continue to update the vendors that are in there. See if there's any new food
Mhm.
choices this year.
Hey, there might be changes around the arena too. Did you guys see the rumors might build like a soccer stadium down there too?
Yeah, we'll see that in 2035.
I'd rather get a new arena, but
Although
you know what?
Christian was spreading rumors previously that he heard that area was for the Sabres potentially
did.
in the future.
He did.
That we'll
Yeah.
see in 2055.
Yeah, but honestly, I was when we were driving through downtown, I was talking to my dad about, them possibly doing that. And I guess for people who don't know, the rumor is they're knocking down the old HSBC and Buffalo News buildings, and that's where they're going to put a new venue. Don't know if it's hockey or soccer. It's all speculation, but I was telling him that, and he's like, "Why would you do that? Like the arena, if you put $400 million into it to redo it, it's perfectly fine. You could use it for another 30 years." Which
I
he's right. You replace all the seats in it. You redo the concourse. I mean, it'd be nice to have a new arena like what the Red Wings have, but I'll take whatever I can get.
Yeah, I don't need state of the art. I just
No,
need
neither do I.
like Jesus. Just I'm very easy to please. I don't have a bad time at Sabre. It's not like I walk around and I'm just like, this place sucks.
God
Like
damn it.
it's like
Place
no,
is falling apart.
you walk around the arena. You're like, oh, okay, that's the old Navy colors. The ground's
Yeah.
green.
I saw
the seats are breaking.
Yeah,
I
the
saw
seats.
I saw
It's like,
I
oh
saw
look, the guy's seat just collapsed in front of me. That's an issue.
I saw a fat kid break a seat. This place is falling
Oh
apart.
my God, he's smuggling the cushion out of the arena.
Hey, you deserve that souvenir.
Hey,
If
I
your
would,
chair
man.
breaks, take it.
I know somebody that I think their seat broke at a Bills game, and they smuggled it out of there, and they ended up getting it signed by like a bunch of alumni, and how it's like hanging in their basement.
That's sick.
So I hope that kid does the same. I hope he has like Eric Johnson. Well, no, he was gone. Connor Clifton signed that for him.
That would it's a broken seat. You don't need it to be worth less. Especially if you get Eric Johnson to sign it.
But I'm a simple man to please. Like you don't have to do much. Just update, like make it look current, and an RJ statue over here. I don't know, a broadcast wing over there.
Just updating some of the colors and some of the murals. Like that doesn't even take much. But
Please,
it would
the
do a
Alumni
lot.
Plaza. We talk about it all the
We
time.
have
They
every
gotta
summer.
do something.
Every
I
Talk
think it's
about it too much.
around this time every summer we inevitably get back to Alumni Plaza. Like we were laughing when we went to the Blue and Gold Insight. So when we walked out of there, like there he is, Tyler Myers, still there.
It's unbelievable. Actually, that's actually probably the biggest embarrassment of the arena is that because it's right when you walk in. Like just change it, please.
So your girlfriend obviously has not been to a ton of Sabres games. So you're gonna take her to that plaza, and she's like, "Who are all these players?" And you'd be like, "Oh,
Who is
like
that?
there was all the captains, and there's Thomas Vanek, Ryan Miller," and she's like, "Oh, who's that last one?" It's like, he won the Calder with us 15 years ago.
And it hasn't been updated since.
Yeah,
None of these.
Our
listen,
history ends in 2000. Like, when did he get traded? 2015.
It's like, listen, I want you to take a look at all these people up here. None of these guys play for the Sabres anymore. That I could promise you. Okay. I don't even want you to ask me who that is because it's not going to be important to the game.
Half of them don't even associate with the team either.
Pretty much, yeah.
God, I still remember that article. Like, what was it? Like, it was around like 2020 or 2021. How like it was one of those anonymous articles where like it was off the record stuff, and it was all these alumni just taking shots at the organization and how they think it's run, but under the secrecy of not being named.
Anonymity at its finest.
All right, so got a little bit off topic there again. It's the summer. Last bit of Sabres news here. Kind of a weird one. Chris Bergeron, who was hired as an NCAA free agent scout back on June 11th, he's already gone. He got hired as an associate coach of the Cleveland Monsters in the AHL.
Thank you for your service, Chris. I didn't even know who you were.
Insert the Simpsons gif of the grandfather just coming in the door, taking off his jacket, walking in a circle, going back to put back on his jacket, walk back out the door.
I respect the business hustle. He parlayed that position into a better job.
Climb the ladder.
I respect that.
Hey, you know what? It is a promotion. I mean, going just from, a scout for the Sabres to the associate second highest position as a coach on an AHL team, it makes sense.
Bro went from Buffalo to Cleveland.
Not a great look. Not a good look from the outside. All right, last bit of Sabres. Last Sabres thing I did kind of want to touch on. As we get into September and closer to training camp, we're going to see some PTOs signed here. And I did just kind of want to touch on, like, I don't think that I can't remember the last PTO the Sabres did. I think like was it like Riley Sheehan? I think got one a few years ago. I think other than him, I think he was like the last one the Sabres did. But I did want to bring this up because I was thinking. So the Sabres do have a few preseason games overseas, and I think at the same time they have preseason games back in Buffalo. So I think I would assume that they take their opening night roster overseas with them. And then, you would think like, yeah, okay, the Amerks roster probably just stays here and plays those games. But I do wonder, do they maybe sign a few PTOs just to fill out the Buffalo bound roster?
You could,
It's possible.
hey, take a flyer on Kailer Yamamoto. I'd be down with that.
So I was looking at the list of who the Sabres could potentially bring in, and there's a few interesting names on here. Recently added to the list, Ryan Johansen, possibly. We'll get to him. Jacob Vrana's still on here, but I think he's going to the Capitals on a PTO. I was thinking, given that the Sabres' right-handed defense isn't that strong, Tyson Barrie's out there. I wouldn't be surprised if. I mean, I think some team will take the bait there, but I don't know. Wouldn't be totally crazy if the Sabres maybe took a chance there. Christian, you mentioned Kailer Yamamoto. That's something for that could be something for the forward group. I think Max Pacioretty's still out there. I don't know. I wanted to float the idea, or just float the thought train out there that maybe they take a chance or two on someone just to fill out the roster towards the end here. Obviously, it's a PTO. Like nobody's gonna really come in and knock your socks off. All right, so that's pretty much it for now. Like I said, getting closer to September, so we'll start to see more stuff kick in here. Did you see Peterka and Luukkonen? They're in Prague for I think a media tour, and they got to meet up with our Czech fan club.
I did
When
see
that
It's pretty cool.
when that Czech guy posted on X about like, oh, big things for the Sabres today, I was like, are they making a trade? It's like, no, Christian, the head of the Czech Sabres fan club is not going to be breaking any trade news today.
It's fun. It's fun to dream. It's fun to dream. All right, we can move on to some more NHL stuff here. So we'll start with the big news. And we talked a little bit about it on our last Sabres versus the Atlantic episode. Patrik Laine has been traded to a member of the Atlantic Division. It was not the Buffalo Sabres. It was the Montreal Canadiens. Laine gets shipped along with a second-round pick to the Montreal Canadiens for defenseman Jordan Harris. Montreal takes on all $8.7 million of his cap hit for the next 2 seasons.
It's such a risk. It really is. I mean, I would have loved to have him on the team, maybe in a different deal, maybe in a more of a retention mode deal. But I can't beat myself up too much over it. I'm more upset with the overall fact that we're just not adding one in general. Patrik Laine obviously wasn't at the top of my list to start free agency as to who to target, and obviously that list has gone down substantially, and he was one of the last ones left after saying that he wanted out of Columbus. I'm very indifferent to it. I'm glad we didn't assume the risk of the contract and possibly him not being himself anymore, but I'm also upset that we haven't made any moves to improve our top six.
The trading the full contract, that's kind of what surprised me the most.
It seemed like that was why it got done. That
Yeah.
Montreal was the only team, towards the end of negotiations, they were the only team willing to do that. So if the Sabres were interested, surprise, surprise, needed some serious retention. But I get retention in this case. When Christian and I talked about it last episode, a few weeks back, I said like I wasn't okay. Like 8.7 for Laine, like that's a lot. I can take him at 6.5 maybe. 8.7, that's a lot. But the Habs are in a pretty unique situation where they can take that risk right now.
Sabres just aren't looking to spend to the cap. I don't know what else you wanted to tell. I don't know what else to say, man.
Yeah. So Would you guys have done that deal if it was the Sabres? Like, I don't know. What is the comparison for Jordan Harris? Is it like
Um,
Yoki and
I feel
Yoki
like
for those
he's
two?
same role, but I think Harris is the better player. I think it's more like kind of Ryan Johnson, but Harris
That's
is
what I was
more
gonna go with.
established. I feel like it's more like I guess Ryan Johnson, or maybe like a Krebs. Maybe it's maybe Krebs is the better comparable.
It's like a fringe guy who's had NHL experience that's also not in the lineup every night.
Yeah. So would you do line a full contract and a second for Peyton Krebs straight up?
So are you saying we would get the second? Or are you
Well,
saying it
yeah,
would be
the
Yeah,
Canadians
that's how it
the
goes.
Canadians got a second.
oh right, because they took on the contract.
I don't love it, but at the
I
end
mean,
of the day, I do still think you're
I,
getting better.
yeah,
But at the same
I'd
time,
be okay with it.
I wouldn't love taking on the full money.
My indifference stands in this argument. It
Yeah, I
sucks though.
think.
It does.
Yeah, it's an interesting conversation. I also think Sabres do have kind of a surplus in the bottom six right now. I think they have 13 NHL ready forwards, so it's not. You might not be getting word. I don't know. I'll put it this way. I'm not happy he went to Montreal. That's
Me
kind of
neither.
like
Yeah,
the worst case scenario here, or not worst case, but it's not a good look.
yeah. If I guess at this point, if you're like Christian and you're still holding out hope for a trade, I guess Farabee and I guess Zegras are the only two left.
I don't think Farabee's going anywhere. Zegras is like the last one I'm holding on to because I think inevitably a divorce is coming. I feel like the Sabres are really the only team left now. Montreal was like the destination for Zegras, and well, they got Laine. So maybe Kevin Adams is playing the long game here.
Hey, let
Perhaps.
him cook. Let him cook.
All right, on to the other bit of huge news. Offer sheets in the year 2024. And not just one, two. Two offer sheets. The St. Louis Blues offer sheeted Dylan Holloway and Philip Broberg of the Edmonton Oilers, and they got both. I was a little upset we didn't get to talk about it beforehand, but as part of the thing, the Blues did not give the Oilers much time to think about this. Um, St. Louis gave Dylan Holloway a 2-year offer sheet worth $2.29 million per season, and Broberg got one for two seasons at 4.58 per season. And so the final compensation for the both of them is a second and the third.
I think the Broberg one is a definite overpayment. I don't think he's shown enough in the league to be worthy of a almost $5 million contract. The Dylan Holloway one, on the other hand, I'm surprised Edmonton didn't match. Just because I think Dylan Holloway was a solid bottom six guy for them. He had his moments where he'd go cold, but he showed up for them in the playoffs this year.
Yeah, he had
And
that
I'm
insane goal in the
yeah,
finals.
I am surprised that they didn't at least match him. But Mr. Bowman is having a little bit of a rough start to his tenure in Edmonton.
Welcome back to the league, bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, deservedly so. I
It's like
loved
no, go ahead.
I just loved the Doug Armstrong's comments about this. Nobody emailed me that we couldn't do offer sheets. I think it's something that everybody should do. I'd do it if my mother was still managing if she was managing the Oilers. Like, I just love those comments.
Yeah,
It is
that's great stuff.
it is cool. I really wish offer sheets were more common. It is electric and it's fun. Like,
It is fun. It's
why
just
can't
it
more teams do
sucks.
this?
Like this one makes sense. Like the big ones never work because like I guess from the Sabres point of view, like Thomas Vanek, like it unless when he got offer sheeted, unless it was for like $12 million, like you match that. And then even if you don't match it, you get like 4 first-round picks. Like the penalty in the NHL is so bad.
You
It's
are
just
sacrificing a lot of the future.
I mean, what did Kotkaniemi? Didn't he cost a first, a second, and a third?
Yeah,
And
one,
he
two,
only
and a
had,
three.
and what he signed for like what was it like 6 million, 7 million? Like sure, it's sizable, but like, that's a lot of money. Like that's why you don't see teams do it. very much. But this one just made a ton of sense because these are players, they're young and they could become more, but at the same time, the Oilers went on a spending spree this offseason and they were probably never going to be able to keep Broberg, and I think losing Holloway, like that's just bad. Like that's just bad asset management. I'm sure you've seen going around now. They're the oldest team in hockey now. So they're in win now mode. So they're kind of like who cares, but it's not going to be sustained. Like you lose 2 first-round picks that you've put a lot of developing and time into. It's kind of closes how long your window is going to be open for. Especially in Holloway, he was looking like a potential top 6 piece heading into next season. And not to mention they tried. It seemed like that they were going to match because they sent out Cody Ceci. And honestly, kind of fleeced the Sharks. They send out Cody Ceci and only a 3rd-round pick. And they get Ty Emberson, who it was kind of circulated. He did pretty good for the Sharks last year. In a very small sample size, but he's better than Cody Ceci. And
Mhm.
I don't know. I don't know what Mike Greer was thinking with that one, especially with
Yeah.
somebody in their division, especially if, he's trying to get Leon Draisaitl next summer. You're kind of making their job easier.
That's a head scratcher on the part of the Sharks or rebuilding team, and you're acquiring Cody Ceci. Like he missed the net by a mile. That's all I think about whenever
He's
I
a
hear
minute muncher.
whenever I hear Cody Ceci, all I think about is that bubble game where
It was
he
a shot
missed
by
it like
Ceci and it's way wide.
missed if there were 2 nets side by side, like he'd miss both of them.
And then Edmonton goes on to trade a 4th-round pick to Vancouver for Podkolzin. So it did seem like they were going to match, but we did get news shortly after the offer sheets weren't matched that there was another trade that St. Louis was sending a 3rd-round pick and another player for future considerations. Yeah, I wonder what those future considerations were. Clearly, they last little sweetener to make them not match. But yeah, I mean it's a good bet by St. Louis. Like you might as well. It would have been worse if they only got Broberg, I think, because you would have gotten the worst of the two and the bigger contract. But the fact they were able to get both, it's impressive and it's a very well calculated move. Some interesting things happening over in Toronto. John Tavares relinquishes the Maple Leafs captaincy, and Auston Matthews is now the captain of the Toronto Maple Leafs.
It's a changing of the guard. Yeah, I think Matthews deserves it. I mean, he's grown from his past mistakes, and they were
It's funny. We were joking about this on the last episode. I don't even know how it got brought up. We were just talking about the Leafs, and we just kind of mentioned the incident offhand. And now 2 weeks later, he's the captain. It's come full circle.
You think this was like John Tavares, being a really good teammate, saying, "Here, you could have it," or was management telling him, "Hey, it's your time's just about done. Give it to our star player."
Well, yeah, it's funny. It definitely wasn't Tavares going to them. It was funny when the reports came out. All the insiders were like, "Yeah, these conversations started shortly after the Leafs lost Game 7 to Boston." I'm like, "Huh." It's like I'm sure those were lighthearted. Maybe we should make the transition now. I don't think those conversations were too kind to John Tavares. So it is interesting. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that thought they should have waited until this contract ran out, but they obviously did not do so.
I think they should have.
We're not going to change up the core. We're going to change our captaincy.
I did see an interesting comment. I think it was by Friedman, how he was saying that it's hard for John Tavares to be the captain and to go up to someone and be like, you need to start carrying your load around here. And meanwhile, he's making, $11 million and getting outscored by Ilya Lyubushkin in the playoffs. So I do understand that. It also sounds very similar to something that the Sabres kind of went through with their captain. I think I understand where they were coming from there. It is kind of hard to, look Tavares in the eyes and be like, I need to start carrying my load.
Right.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of captaincy, when are they going to announce Dahlin? I was just talking about that. I think it was with the BST boys. I was like, we need something like positive going on right now. Like there's a lot of negativity. Like let's at
We're
least
getting
announce
a
Darlene's
new
captaincy.
scoreboard. How
Is
can
the
you
new
not be?
jumbotron not enough for
How
you?
can you? Yeah. How can you not? Like this is a problem. We're too greedy. We're just not appreciative.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
not at all.
Announcing Darlene captaincy is free. Okay, it
I
doesn't cost any money.
Well, Jack was before opening night. I remember that. Okposo, they revealed it at like a family party, and I think that was before opening night. Yeah, I do wonder, do they do it before the season starts, or maybe do they wait till they come home to do it, and then he's introduced at the home opener? That'd be interesting. I mean,
Are
it's
you
coming. It's coming. It's just I don't think it's imminent, like within the next few days or something like that.
are you sure it's not going to be Alex Tuck?
I'm fairly confident. I'm fairly confident it will not be Alex Tuck.
Me too.
Last bit of news here. Interesting conversation to have. Ryan Johansen is set to have his contract terminated by the Flyers due to a quote material breach.
No idea what that legal jargon means.
Uh,
Material breach?
And I think the legal aspect is interesting because I think this might go to court or some sort of court. I think Johansson might and his camp might fight this.
Is there any reporting on what it possibly is about?
I think somebody was saying like he didn't maybe want to report to the AHL team.
Oh, like pull a Zach Bogosian?
Maybe it's that. I could be wrong.
Patrick Bergeron.
His agent released this is what his agent had to say today. Ryan Johansen has a severe hockey injury that requires extensive surgery, which has been scheduled. Since being traded to the Flyers, Ryan has worked in good faith with the club, its medical staff, and authorized third-party physicians. The Flyers' attempt to terminate the contract is disappointing. We have been in contact with NHLPA and will defend Ryan and protect his rights.
Maybe it's like
Maybe they think he's lying?
maybe it's a lot more dramatic situation than like the Eichel situation. Like, is he maybe getting a surgery they don't want him to get?
Or maybe they don't think he needs surgery at all?
Yeah. Is it, what is Briere cooking over there? He's got all these issues. Like
what is
back
going
to
on
back
in
to
Philadelphia?
back. Carter Hart and whatever that prospect's name that did not want to
Cutter
sign him.
Gauthier.
Then they had to trade him. And now this. It's like, list goes on.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. That's obviously something that just recently unfolded. It's going to be interesting. There were rumors that he was not well liked in the Colorado locker room, so probably not a surprise for many that something has come up here in Philly. In any case, we shall see how that situation unfolds. But other than that, I think we're basically caught up here with everything that's going on in the NHL world. Surprisingly, like I said, a busy week. And hopefully it's hints of more to come. Hopefully we keep getting some action here as we get closer to the season. Hopefully trades aren't done.
Please,
Hopefully
a trade.
Hopefully the Sabres aren't done. I don't want to get anybody's hopes up. Don't want to sell any false hope, although it's not like I've been to I haven't been doing a lot of that this offseason. So, in that case, thank you very much for listening. If you want to follow us on Twitter, you can follow us at the Sabre Report. Get updates for the pod on Twitter at Sabre Report Pod. Follow us on Instagram or TikTok at the Sabre Report. If you watch this on YouTube, thank you very much for listening. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Bills preseason is in full swing, and we're getting closer to opening kickoff, so go give our friends over at the Buffalo Sports Talk podcast a listen. They've been putting out a lot of content centered around the Bills, including Buffalo Lancaster native Joe Andreessen, who's been kicking ass in the preseason and turning heads. So they had some good coverage going on. JP was just on their last episode, so be sure to give them a listen.
They did interview him too.
They did interview him a few months ago,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
they're not hopping on. They started the bandwagon. So I think other than that, thank you very much for listening. We'll talk to you guys next time. And as always, go Sabres.
Go Sabres.
Go Sabres.